Morning.
What do we have new since the court report was filed?
Since the court report is filed, I have gotten contact from a couple of providers. I spoke with the therapist, Lois Hinders, yesterday. She reported that since, due to Christian, Mr. Hatchett missing too many scheduled appointments, she has discharged him from her services. I believe he attended one of the sessions with her. And then this morning, I heard from Mr. Hatchett's substance abuse counselor, and he also reports due to Christian missing too many group sessions with him, he has been discharged from their substance abuse program. He can re-enroll back in that group in 60 days.
Can we get him into anything else sooner than 60 days?
Yes, I can refer him to a different substance abuse program and get him in sooner.
Okay, let's look at something else. All right, anything else with respect to the father?
I believe when I filed the court report, we were still waiting on his drug test from the 5th, but I have filed that since, so that should be filed.
Okay, what was the result?
It was positive for marijuana as well.
Higher levels, lower levels?
This particular drug test was higher than the previous ones. They've normally ranged in the teens and the 20s, and this one was over 100.
Okay, what about mom?
There's not really any new updates since the court report. She has completed more services than the dad. She completed counseling with Lois. She completed her psychological. She was discharged a couple months ago from her initial substance abuse program. I did get her into another one, and she's attended 3 or 4 groups at that one. The counselor with that group is Lydia Daly. She reports mom is participating well in that group. Mom is maybe about 3/4 done with her online course, but her drug screens as well, they both continue to test positive for marijuana.
Same thing, higher or lower?
Moms are pretty much in the teens or the 20s.
All right, and how about the children?
The children are doing well in the home with the parents and the grandparents. I've recently gotten them into the Region 16 home-based program, so they'll be coming out to the home and working with the kids. I'm getting Camila ready to be enrolled in school next year and working on some different development things with the other 2 younger children. But kids are doing well, baby's doing well, putting on weight, growing really well. So I feel like the kids are doing well in the home with the grandparents and the parents.
All right, the report made reference that there had been some new concern about some altercation, fighting, or excessive drinking between parents. What's the situation with that?
Yes, our concern is that the parents are going over to the paternal grandparents' home and drinking excessively, and that when they are drinking, their disagreements, arguments are escalating to the point to where they are screaming at one another, and it's escalated to the point to where there was an incident at the home of the maternal grandparents where Christian was asked to leave the home to avoid anything.
Let me interrupt you. Hang on a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my apologies, y'all. All right, Ms. Stout, if you can go ahead. I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, there's concerns that they are drinking excessively, and that's leading to some domestic violence. There was an incident at the maternal grandparents' home where they both had been drinking, verbally arguing. I believe at one point, Mr. Hatchett was holding Mrs. O'Connor down when they were arguing, and then he was asked to leave the home by the maternal grandparents. And law enforcement was not called out at that incident.
All right, and Ms. Naranjo?
As Ms. Stout stated, Ms. O'Connor is working services, and I'll speak to her regarding the marijuana usage.
All right, Mr. Nowak?
Just one question, Judge. Ms. Stout, you said that Christian was testing positive for marijuana as well. I just want to be clear, he's only testing positive for marijuana and no other substance, correct?
Correct. When I said as well, I meant Mr. Hatchett and Mrs. O'Connor.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Thank you
it's
so
only
much.
marijuana.
Judge, that's all I have.
All right, so Ms. Zavala?
I'm noticing Camila's arm. I was out there on Tuesday and I didn't see that. And so I'm just really curious as to what's going on there.
She got bit by her dog. It was an accident. She was pulling the dog by the tail. He's an old dog. It's our family dog, and he got mad and he snapped at her because she was like yanking him by the tail, trying to get him in the car. This just happened the other night, Tuesday night.
Was the
Okay, so after I was there on Tuesday?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Did the child see a doctor?
Yes, we went to the hospital, BSA. They gave her 3 stitches
Okay,
on her right hand, on her middle finger, I believe.
okay. All right, Ms. Zavala, go
And
ahead.
Your Honor, I was able to see them in person in the home Tuesday early evening. And the kids appeared to be doing fine. I know little guy was sick, so I don't know what the update is on him and how he's doing, but I did get to see him. I've got no real safety concerns as long as grandmother and I believe great grandmother, they're both there. They've been there every time I've been there. They've been very appropriate. They take care of the kids. I didn't get to see or talk to either mom or dad. They didn't happen to be there. I know that they were going someplace that made sense. So it's not, you know, but I just didn't get to talk with them. The kids themselves seem to be doing well. And I think grandmother and great grandmother, I feel comfortable with the kids, with them. It doesn't seem like we're making a whole lot of progress on services, some definitely. But right now I would say the kids are fine where they are.
All right, Mr. Abbey, do we need to hear from anyone else through St. Francis?
I don't think so, Your Honor. This case is got a dismissal date in July. We would ask that you continue the orders in place, and we continue to work with these folks. And then we may have to revisit it closer to that dismissal date.
Okay, well, let me say to the parents, I mean, we're set for a final hearing in this June 22nd. I'm very concerned about lack of progress and the amount of time that it's taking to get some of these things done, that you're missing things. So service providers are saying we're not going to see them. You know, I don't know what the issue is, if it's transportation, if it's, you know, if you're just not showing up. But folks, you've got to get on board with this stuff. I mean, we can't stay involved with you forever. But, you know, if you don't make some changes, I will tell you where this will lead. And that will be a full-blown removal of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
And they'll probably stay there with the grandmother, but you two are going to have to move out and you're going to have to find somewhere else to live. And then you're going to be working a whole different set of things and under a whole different set of rules. And, you know, nobody wants that. All these people are working really hard to work with you all to prevent that. That's the whole reason why we're doing what we're doing right now, is to prevent splitting up your family. So, you know, I understand it's marijuana. I understand it's legal a lot of places, but it isn't in Texas. And you all know that. You know that. So give up the dope or give up your kids. Pretty simple.
yes, ma'am.
And the drinking. If you're drinking to the point you guys are fighting and arguing, that's just as bad, if not worse. So you're running out of time, and I mean there are reasons that I could extend the case 180 days, you know, but if I don't see any significant progress when we get back together on June 22nd, you know, I'm going to suggest that why do we bother to extend this another 180 days under a prevention case? Let's just go to the next level. So you all need to get serious about this. Okay. All right, then I'm going to continue everything. We're going to keep working with the family. We'll keep them in the prevention program, and I'll see everybody back June 22nd, and that's a 9 o'clock docket.
Thank you, Judge. And just real quick, if I may, Christian, you got my phone number. Call me, man. Call me.
Permanency
Yes, sir.
hearing.
Thank you.
We're conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the department, and Mario Zavala is my permanency specialist today.
Ryan Turman for respondent mother. I am present and ready. I've had no contact with Ms. Rogers.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Stephen.
And Mr. Trout, did you get a signature from Mr. Hammonds or?
I don't remember getting one. Let me check again real quick, Aaron.
Okay, he's not logged in, so I wondered if you'd gotten that. Okay, while you're looking, then what update do we have, Mr. Zavala? Anything new since the court report was filed?
Yes, Your Honor. The father has been completing his courses. He's completed Jennings Counseling and Fatherhood Fire. And OZAR has been submitted, but they had to pend it due to a family emergency, and they have that rescheduled for June. Father has been known about that, so we're just kind of waiting till then. Father still remains negative on his drug screenings. He received a full-time job, works Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week. He will be submitting his first paycheck stub sometime in June. He just started a couple of weeks ago. He does pretty well. He responds. He is allowed to go visit his son up to 4 hours in person, while the uncle, where Stephen is placed at, supervises the visits. And as far as mom, again, I haven't heard from her. She doesn't talk to me. No emails, phone calls, text messages. So sent letters, no response back. As far as it comes to Stephen, Your Honor, we do have a little bit of worry. Just a little bit ago, I received a phone call from the uncle that the child will continue to he'll use the restroom in his pants, and the uncle will have to go and pick up Stephen. And that happened this morning. And it got pretty physical at school, where the uncle had to go and remove Stephen on the last day of school. And it has something to do with Stephen. He likes to play with his feces, and he doesn't know why. There's just no reason behind it. The uncle kind of feels that it may have something to do with dad not being present. When dad does go and visit Stephen, Stephen then reacts out. He'll start playing with his feces days after dad visits him in person. He also, the uncle had mentioned to me that the father has not spoken to Stephen over the phone since last Saturday, and it was for about 10 minutes. And then once again, Stephen started playing with his feces again. So it's a big worry. He is going to counseling. However, he has not seen his counselor since the 28th of last month, only because they are having a hard time rescheduling Stephen to see his counselor in the area where he's at. They've tried multiple cities that are in the surrounding area where he can see a therapist in person, and they don't have any room. So they have a potential scheduled date for him in June, but there's no set date where Stephen will see his counselor again.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, is this new news to you as well?
Some of it is. I Zoomed with Stephen and his uncle on Tuesday, and this newest incident, of course, was after that. There was a lot of talk about visits and dad and how that was going on Tuesday, so I don't know if that became a trigger. Stephen seemed very happy. Reports from uncle were very good. I think uncle is very appropriate, very protective. I've got no concerns at all with Stephen there. Stephen seems very happy there, but he did tell me, I want to go home to dad, but I want to take my uncle with me. So he wanted both. There was some talk about school with Stephen. He is incredibly bright. I mean, crazy smart. And he's just now finishing up the first grade. And there really was some talk about possibly trying to skip second and go to third. But the whole issue is behavior and maturity. And I think he's probably bored to tears at school a lot of the times because the material is way below what he's capable of. I hate to hear about that this morning. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, and as to the counseling, we did talk about the counselor. I know that I've got another family there that's looking, and that whole area in Midland, Odessa is very difficult to find a counselor. But I had in my notes that they now had one identified, and that starting in June they could meet with them, I thought, weekly. And I was impressed that was able to get going, but I may need clarification on that. I thought it was going to start up weekly very soon, but that may have changed.
Have we explored and made sure that there's no physiological reason behind this.
The father, Your Honor, was questioned about a potential sexual abuse. He was under investigation. Stephen will make remarks when I talk to him about anything. He will say, I don't want to talk about it. That's all what he says. So father was under an investigation, and everything came back clear that there was nothing. So at that time, you did rule that there was no interaction with the child. And then once that was all clear, he started having phone calls and in-person visits.
I think he's up to date on medical, but we may want to send him back to just double check with the primary care physician to see if he needs any additional testing. It doesn't seem like, at least incidents in the past, that there was a physical reason, but we probably want to just triple check with the doctor about that.
Yeah, and so if it is not, then we obviously, a counselor is imperative. So,
and I do not have my notes in front of me, but I know that the uncle gave me a specific name, and I think he has had 2 sessions before, and now they're going to be more regular. But again, maybe that information has changed, and I can double check with him.
Are you needing the therapist's name?
Well, I know I've got it in my notes. Do you have that?
Yes, ma'am. Let me get it really quick.
And is it your understanding that soon she'll be able to meet with him weekly?
But she has been meeting. It was once a month, just because they were so behind.
And I think because of school, now that school's going to be out, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
well, I think we really need to stay on this, getting him into regular counseling. I mean, at age 7, and it somewhat sounds like this is a conscious decision, that he's making. So let's get some advice on what's the best way to handle it. I don't know if there can be, incentives used with him.
He just messaged me, Your Honor. They said that they will be meeting weekly in June with Teresa Valero. That is his regular therapist that he sees.
Okay, well, we're going to kick that to the therapist and see what they think and see what might work with him. Okay, any other concerns?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Turman, you've had no contact, so not much to report.
No, Judge.
And Your Honor, just for court's knowledge, I looked back and I did not have a signature from Mr. Evans.
Okay. All right, well, we'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continuous placement. And if Mr. Zavala, just make sure that therapy's happening. You'll just stay on top of that. I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Our next hearing is September 21st hearing. We are conducting this through the Zoom program. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. Okay, we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the department. Mario Zavala is my permanency specialist today.
Brooks Barfield for mother, Billy Bonham. She is present.
Casey Zavala for the kids here in Reddit.
All right, and Mr. Cranford nor Mr. Henderson are with us this morning. Okay, what do we have new since the court report was filed?
When it comes to the father, Your Honor, Dylan Cranford is still incarcerated, and he's looking at next April to be released. He has been sent over some parenting, like a parenting packet. I do send him letters once a month, kind of letting him know how his kids are doing. At first, he was not able to have connection with anybody outside of the prison where he's located at. Just a couple of weeks ago, they did allow him to start sending out messages, like letters. So I'm going to end up sending him a courtesy worker in June to start seeing him in person. When it comes to mom, Billy has completed several of the requirements on the family plan. She's completed RBT, Jennings counseling, OZAR, and OZAR has required her to take a daily recovery service, and she has completed that as well. One of the main concerns that I have when it comes to with Billy is her employment. Billy just started a new job, and this is the only time that I've had one paycheck stub, but that was like back in November. And with this new job, she stated that she will not be able to provide me with a paycheck stub until June. But she does have a 40 hours a week job, working Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. That is the only job that I have recorded of her. And then when it comes to her drug testing, since the last time, her hair follicle, her hair follicle on 10/12/22 was positive at 4101. And we did another hair follicle in December, and we did a hair follicle and a UA, and that was at 14,369. On 2/17/23, it was presumed positive. I let Billy did not show up to her drug screen. She told me that she did not receive my text message. I have informed Billy, as well as all my other parents, that I would be sending them a text message. If they do not reply within a certain time, then I will be calling them. If they do not answer, I will be leaving a voicemail. Just because Billy said that she did not receive my text message. Ever since then, Billy has been going to her drug screenings. And on 3/8/2023, she did a hair follicle, and it was positive for the same drug, and that was at 11/6/25. She was sent again this month, and it is pending. Billy did mention to me that she was going to check herself into Synacor. When she went to Synacor, she was there for 3 days, and they had asked her to leave, or that she had. This is the update that I got from the director of Synacor, that Billy left due to being insubordinate. She did not want to listen to staff. And I didn't hear from Billy then for about 5 days. Billy did have her own apartment. She was leaving I guess she couldn't afford her apartment, but she was going to check into the Haven. When I called the Haven to see if she was going to be a resident at the Haven, they mentioned to me that she was no longer welcome at the Haven due to her lacking to get into the Haven. Like, she was not, they told her to show up at a certain time. She never showed up. They gave her 3 chances, and by that 3rd chance, they told her she was not welcome back.
All right, so drug use continues to be a concern. The drug test you're waiting for results, was that hair or UA or both?
It is a UA, and we're asking that if she can do her hair follicle. And she went to her drug screening 2 days on Tuesday. That was for her UA.
Mario.
Wanting her to do another hair?
Did someone call my name? I'm sorry.
I did. I was listening to the same thing Judge was asking. Her last hair follicle was in March. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're asking for a hair follicle today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Henderson has logged in, just for the record. Okay, Mr. Barfield.
Just to refresh my memory, what are her current visits like at this point?
She does have 1-hour visits at St. Francis. From what I know is she does want to have more time. She feels like Rosella needs more time with her mom, and we've denied that just because the lack of services, the lack of communication that she has with me. But from what I report back is that Billy does have good interaction with her kids. They just ask that if she's going to present a gift to one child, we ask her to present a gift to the other child as well.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to make an assumption here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would assume certainly she's that your main concerns to continue in regards to the visits would probably be your.
Hey, Brooks, you're fading in and out. Sorry.
I'll put my thing in.
Okay. Is that better? I put my hearing aid in. All right. So let me get back to, I'll circle back around. I would assume the primary concern at this point is certainly is the continued drug situation. Would that be fair in regards to visits? Okay.
Yes, sir.
If we could get that, I'm going to use the word stabilized, would that ease some of your concerns in regards to maybe expanding visitation?
I would like Billy to show a negative UA and hair follicle.
Okay. And other services, it sounds to me like we can get that probably worked out with her, but we really got to get this drug issue under control before we're going to make significant progress. Is that a fair
That would be one of the concerns. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Henderson.
I don't believe I have any questions for Mr. Savala.
Okay. Mr. Barfield. Don't know where that's going.
Your Honor.
Okay. I was getting a lot of feedback. So, Mr. Barfield, anything further today?
I want to ask Billy's questions, Your Honor.
Yeah, sure. You want me to put her under oath?
Yeah, might as well since I'm asking her questions. Billy, you've heard the testimony today regarding drug screens.
Yes.
Okay. You understand you're supposed to go drug screen. I'm assuming the court is going to order you to go do a hair follicle today. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm just going to straight ask you right now, is that hair follicle, do you believe that's going to be at a lower level than the last time, or is it going to be higher or the same?
If it's not clean, then it's going to be just about clean.
Okay.
I've been clean since December 25th. I know that the last time I had a CPS case that I was 6 months clean and it was showing low levels, but it should be very low, if not clean.
Okay. All right. So go get that done. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make it clear on the record. Do you understand that we got to get some negative drug tests before you're going to be able to make significant progress in this case? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
sir.
Now let me ask you about your job. Where are you working?
I'm working at Texas Body Shop. I've been working there for 3 weeks. I was having problems keeping and holding a job. But with continued therapy and taking my pills on time every day, I feel confident that I'm going to be able to keep this job. And I haven't missed a day. I've been on time every day. It's really strange how they pay there. They pay on the 1st and the 15th and they hold a check. So okay. I'm not going to be able to get my first paycheck until the 1st. And okay. It's just very odd.
Okay. Well, when you do that, will you make sure that Mr. Savala gets that paycheck?
Yes,
or
sir.
a pay stub, rather. You can
and anybody can call. I'm on the payroll. Anybody can call. I've already told my boss that people from CPS might be calling, and he said that's fine.
Okay. All right. And you do understand that if you obviously you have an issue with substances, you understand that the court doesn't want to punish you for this, and the department's trying to provide you help, and you're willing to accept that help, correct?
Yes, sir. Part of the therapy that I was recommended through Ozar, they offered me another free 6-week course. And so I'm taking that as well. It starts in June and I'm really excited about it.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today. And you understand, as soon as you can get this issue and show some stability, we can probably get your visits expanded. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
I do show that Ms. Baum had a negative UA that was for it was collected on April 24th. So we did have that negative UA on her. Okay, Ms. Baum, I am going to order you to go ahead and go do the hair test today so we can keep an eye on that. And I hope that it will be negative or very close to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Henderson, anything to report today?
Not really. Dylan is in the Middleton unit. I tried to set up a phone call, but through some scheduling issues, I wasn't, on my part and their part, I wasn't able to do that. So I'll attempt that again. But as far as today, I don't really have anything new to report.
Okay. Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I got to visit with the kids in person at paternal grandmother's house. They are doing great. Rosella, I think, is a future biologist. She was showing me all the bugs and the plants and really smart. They both are doing really good. And I would recommend that placement continue.
All right, thank you. Okay, then I'll continue the department as temporary managing concerner, and I'm going to continue placements. And like I said, order Mom to go do her hair test today before 4 o'clock. Can you do that? Can you get there today?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay. So Mr. Savala, if you'll make sure that paperwork's out there for her today, and then I'll see you back. Your final is scheduled for August 1st. And that's on a 9 o'clock docket. So Ms. Baum, your attorney will be able to let you know exactly what time you need to log in.
Mr. Mario was talking about an extension.
We'll take that up on August 1st, and I will just tell you that there have to be extraordinary circumstances for me to grant that extension. So you need to get everything done that you can do between now and then. We'll take a look at it at that time, but I can't sit here and tell you today that that's going to be granted.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. Here for a review hearing, we are conducting this through the Zoom program. We're live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the department, and Kane Williams is my privacy specialist today.
Kenner Ralpho for the mother, Dakota Donovan. I have not had any contact with my client. She's not present today, but I'm ready.
Jeff Hill on behalf of the unknown father. Judge, ready?
Stacey,
All right.
on behalf of the child.
Sorry, Stacey.
That's okay.
Okay, what do we have new?
Is that for me?
Yes, ma'am. That's for you.
Sorry. Nothing new. I've spoken to Dakota in person one time since the last court hearing on February 9th. She told me she got a job last month. She's been out of town for the majority of the last 4 months, is what she's told me. She has not worked any services. She has not had visits. She's not drug tested. Marley's doing great in her placement, but no major updates.
Is the child in a relative placement or?
Yes, it's a fictive kin home.
Okay, Ms. Naranjo has already stated she's had no contact with her, but anything else to report?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then Mr. Hill, any progress with the unknown?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Zavala.
Marley's doing great in placement. She is an effective kin placement that she's known her whole life. She's thriving. I think that I see that our next hearing is the final, but if it was not, my request would be for the next hearing to be a final. But I think that's already covered, but I've got no concerns about her in her placement.
Okay. All right, it is a final scheduled for August 3rd of 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket. And until then, I'm going to continue the department as temporary manager conservator and continue placement. So I'll see everybody back live streaming August 3rd. And Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the department, and Christina Hunter is my privacy specialist today.
Jeff Hill on behalf of the mother, Sylvia Melton Pasley. Judge, I was unable to reach her over the course of the week, and I was also unable to get a hold of her mother, who usually is a pretty stable point of contact. So I have had no contact with her. Don't expect her to be here today.
I did send her the link, Judge, so she may be waiting. I don't know for certainty, but I talked to her this morning.
Okay. I don't have her in the waiting room, but okay.
Bill Taylor representing Ashton Lee. I've had no contact with him. I've attempted to contact him at the only address I have for him, but have received no response. I'm present and ready.
Stacey Zavala on behalf of Harvey and Emma.
Okay, what's new, Ms. Hunter?
Well, so first and foremost with Harvey, we actually are going to be moving him to be with his sister as of Monday. The placement for both of the children excuse me, let me rephrase myself here. That will be for both of the children. She's willing to take both of them and keep both of them as long as necessary. So they will be able to stay together. I'm sorry?
Mom is logging in. But go ahead.
As far as mom is concerned, since the report has filed, she actually has started to get some of her services set up and going. She's got her OSAR rescheduled currently for June the 8th. She has started to engage with the Padre program as well. And then she's also got some services set up with TPC as well to start addressing some of those things that she needs.
Okay. Ms. Melton, can you unmute? I want to make sure your video looks frozen, so I want to see if you can hear me at least. Get no response. Ms. Melton, can you hear me? Ms. Hunter, go ahead.
That's all that's changed since the affidavit's been filed, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hill, I know you hadn't had contact with her this week. Are you aware of any other services or anything that she has engaged in?
No, ma'am.
Okay. My biggest concern is we're kind of running out of time. So I'm glad she's participating and engaging right now. It's just getting kind of late in the game. Okay, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, Your Honor, I really have nothing to add. I've had no contact at all with Mr. Lee. I have an address in Kansas, but he's not responded to my efforts to contact him.
Ms. Hunter, I assume you haven't had any other contact with him either.
No, ma'am. I've tried to locate him. I've tried to run accurate searches, jail searches. I've emailed all the email addresses that I was able to get sent back to me. I've had no communication, unfortunately. Oh, and I do apologize, Your Honor. If I may, there was one other thing that that I did have an update on Miss Milton. She did recently drug screen for me as well. Again, those unfortunately did come back positive, but she is starting to actively engage again. So I'm very happy with that.
Ms. Milton, can you hear me all right now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can. Okay. We've just basically I've gotten an update on what services you are engaged in right now. Let me just say to you, I'm very pleased that you are engaged in these things, that you're working your services. We're set for trial in this case on August 3rd. So, your time is limited. There are some circumstances where I might determine we could extend the case, but I won't make that decision until we come back in August. So it's just critically important you do everything you can between now and then, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions today?
No, I do not.
All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the children's placement and obviously approve Harvey's change of placement on Monday so that the children will be together. And I'll see everybody back for our final on August 3rd, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. Mr. Hill, do you need a breakout room with Ms. Melton?
Yeah, Judge, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
No, I don't mind a bit. I'll put you all in there, and then you can just leave from there whenever you get done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.